Back in January, I set off to drive the entire coast of mainland Scotland while living in my van. And this part of the journey continues further along the Moray Coast. From quiet seaside towns and shoreline walks, to ancient ruins, local food, wildlife, and everyday life on the road. This part of the road trip really feels like the beginning of a whole new chapter. Well, good morning folks. And as you can see, I've just had a shower in my box seat. Again, now if you've watched my content for a while, or even just other episodes in this series, you know how reluctant I am to use this. I will happily have a shower outside my door because it just connects here to my sink, essentially. You know, I can't have a shower outside my van when there's other people around. Yeah, I'll do that if I'm in the sticks, but I needed a shower, so I've set this up. But the way I've got it, the sort of system I'm using now is so much better than the way I used to have it. If you remember rightly, the first time I showed you this, I think in, was it episode 11 or something like that? I can't remember. You'll know that I never had shower curtain rings to hook up onto my little hooks that are here. And I still don't, but I went to a little hardware store and got these sort of, what would you call them? Well, they're sort of giant paper clips, and this is like a binder, like a ring binder you would put in like 4. So I've been using that, and I've manufactured a little sort of holder for the hose with a giant paper clip. I know. Improvise, adapt and overcome, as they say, for van life. But the reason why it's so much better now, the shower mat that I've got in there, because I've not cut this to size like I used to. So I used to cut it to size and then staple gun it inside so it didn't all stick to me. So it was, but then you had to leave the shower curtain in, and which meant after having a shower, you'd have to leave this up all day for it to dry. It was a total pain. So now I've got it at full length. I can use the shower mat to actually keep it in position, so it keeps it off me more. It still sticks a little bit to my back and stuff, but not much. And then what I can do now is I'm going to take this off, put it in the front, hang it up on my bungee cord that's in the cab, put the engine on with the heaters, and it honestly dries in about 10-15 minutes, and then I can get it away and stick it back in the wardrobe. And I'll just dry out the inside of the seat once I've done that. It's so much easier just to get the shower curtain out when I need it, put it away again after dry it in the front. And it means if I do have to then drive or go, I can still just go, because my toilet needs to go back in there and everything else. I can't drive the van and have that scooting about the floor and stuff. So yeah, it's working well, and I'm much happier to sort of use it now. It feels like a lot less hassle than previously, and it was the hassle of doing it that was the problem ultimately. And it's not raining right now today, so I can open the skylight, and then I'll have my extractor fan on, blasting full, and that creates a nice little wind tunnel through here and takes any of the condensation and everything out from the shower, which is kind of essential. You can't leave and have that much condensation in a van, even though it's all vapor barriered and stuff like that. If you're gonna get damp into your insulation or anything like that, it's gonna be from things like the shower, or from, you know, boiling water on the hob and things like that. So no, it's worked out well. I'm gonna get all this away, get cleaned up, and it's an editing day for me today, really. Because it's the worst day of the week weather-wise. It looks fine outside at the moment, but it was raining earlier. I think it's kind of on and off, but it's meant to be the worst day of the week, so this is my editing day. But I did meet one of my followers in the car park here last night, and she actually owns one of the hotels here in Cullen, and so she's invited me along to get a wee bowl of Cullen Skink or something. So I might take her up on that offer and go and do that later. But generally this is a day for editing, and there's probably not going to be a lot included from today in this episode, but I'm kind of just trying to vlog pretty much every day, everything that I'm doing when I'm deciding to film, whether it's amazing scenery or whether it's a bit of reality like this. I don't think it really matters. I think it's important for people to see the real journey that you sort of go on. you know, when you're doing this. But anyway, I'm gonna get all this away, get everything tidied up, and it's lunchtime shortly, so I might head along to that hotel and take her up on that fine offer of getting a bowl of Cullen Skink. Why not? And would you believe it, after a couple of hours editing, the sun did decide to come out, and what a sight Cullen is in the sun. Hello.
Dave, the man in the bar.
How you doing?
Very well, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, yeah.
Okay.
This is really, really nice, and the menu looks superb. There's loads to choose from. I think I've already made my decision. I think I'm definitely going to start with a Cullen Skink. I'm in Cullen, it's got to be done, so I think I'm going to start with that. And I think I'm in the mood for a homemade steak pie. Yeah, I think so. And the beef is supplied by Forms Rayburn of Huntly, so it's locally sourced produce, which is perfect for my theme. Come on, I already know what I'm having. Don't wait to ask. I already know what I'm having.
Going for steak.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the skink to start.
Would you like white or brown bread or oatcakes?
Oh, I'm gonna go for oatcakes, actually, yeah.
It's more traditional, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go for a steak pie
Chips
for the
and
main.
potatoes.
Chips all the way.
Anything to drink?
Yeah. What have you got in draft?
We've got tenants. We've got an IPA called Scottishmaninavan from Bruton. We have got Calderwood Best.
Is it a local?
Spey Valley.
Spey Valley.
A lager and an IPA. Sunshine and Keith is the IPA.
Sunshine on Keith. Oh, I'll go for that.
It may be a little minute for your meal.
Oh no,
We've
that's
got
fine.
A table of 10 through the house.
That's fine.
They're just ordering. We've got a table of 14. That's a pre-order, so they're getting cook it. And then we so.
Aye, no bother.
Okay.
Plenty of time. No, I'm in no rush.
Excellent. Just so you know.
I'm alright, cheers. What a lovely woman she was. Already, absolutely love this place. Right, I cannot wait for this. It looks delicious. Cullen Skink and Cullen. That is beautiful. The smoked haddock is just divine, homemade as well. I like getting a little bit of the haddock up on my oat cake. I think it depends on how you like your Cullen Skink, but like with the consistency and stuff like that, but this is absolutely beautiful. Yes, I'm getting every last bit. Oh, the steak pie is out. Come and see. Look. I cannot wait to taste that beef. Oh, it's just fallen away on my fork. Yes. Oh, the pastry, look at that. Lovely. Well, that was great. Food was absolutely delicious. Caroline came over and had a wee chat with us as well, which was fantastic. Got loads of great plans for that area where I was sitting as well. It's going to be extended out. They're going through some planning for that right now, and they're going to have like a sort of pizza and seafood little place. I don't know if it's going to be like a hut or something like that. I don't know how they're going to work it, but that sounds like it's going to be superb. And what was the other thing she was telling me about? It sounded really interesting. They're going to be doing a sort of Cullen Skink Odyssey, I think it was called, she said, where you go in, you've got your Cullen Skink, and you can learn about the history of it and all that kind of stuff. And it'll tie in with sort of, well, whiskey country here that we have in this area. So you'll have people that will come and do the distillery tours and things like that as well, and they might stay in Cullen, and then they'll be able to do basically, like, I would imagine it like a sort of Cullen Skink tasting, if you like, where you learn about the history of it and all that kind of stuff, and there's a movie to watch and things. Sounds great, sounds excellent. So she's got loads of plans, and she's involved as well with the Scottish agri-tourism. And if you've been watching my episodes previously, you'll know I visited the Salisworth Home Farm, Ardross Farm in Fife, down on the farm at Rosehearty as well, to go and pick my own rhubarb with Carol, and seeing that diversification of the farms in Scotland. She's actually part of that, and she's obviously diversifying her business as well. And it's all about supporting other local food producers too. So the smoked haddock that they use for the Cullen Skink in that restaurant is from Eatmere Fish in Buckie, and I've actually got that on my list as I continue this journey along the Moray Coast to go and pick up some fish for the van to cook with. So it was a nice coincidence, the actually supplier for their Cullen Skink tonight, and it was beautiful. If I make it in the van like I did in episode 1 of this series again, I don't think it's going to be as good as that, or as good as Lily's kitchen, to be perfectly frank. I give it a good go anyway. But all in all, I've had such a great time starting off my journey here now in Moray at Cullen. I spent an extra night here that I didn't plan on doing. I was just going to stay one night. Even the first night, I didn't actually plan to stay in Cullen, and then saw the motorhome stop over, and it's just such a beautiful day, and just thought, you know what, I want to spend a bit of time here. Then I met Caroline yesterday. She was walking through the motorhome here with her friend, and said, "Oh, I follow you. I sent you a message on Instagram." Sorry, I don't see my messages on Instagram or Facebook anymore. I can't, there's just so many. But she'd actually messaged and says, you know, come along to the hotel and get a bowl of Cullen Skink. So that's what I did tonight, and I'm so glad I did. That is the lights literally just turned on over Seaton and Cullen. Look at that. That's stunning. Yeah, I'm going to be sad to leave. You know what, it's like so many of these other places in Aberdeenshire before I got to this part of the coast, I hadn't really spent any real time at, like the Broch, Fraserburgh, or Crivy, Crovey. You know, I hadn't spent any time there, and I've had such a good time, and this has just been the perfect start to my trip along the Moray Coast as I continue my journey towards Inverness. Hey folks, good morning. I've had such an amazing time here over the last sort of couple of days. It's been great. I'm gutted to have to move on, but I am. And for anyone new that's watching that hasn't seen any of my content before, I really hope you enjoy it. And if you do, please remember to like and hit the subscribe button and never miss a weekly episode. I have new episodes every Sunday and will do throughout the entire course of this journey. And it's going to take me probably the whole year to actually do it. But I am about to leave Cullen. One thing I will say before I do, I nipped into the laundrette there. And I must say, the laundrette is superb. It's really cheap, and all the clothes came back washed, dried and perfectly folded as well. So thank you very much to the women in the laundrette. Honestly, they did such a great job. Right now I'm going to be leaving Cullen, continuing along the Moray Coast. My first stop today is Portknockie to see the famous Bow Fiddle Rock. Oh, I'm gonna miss you, Cullen. It's been emotional. Excellent laundrette there on the right. Highly recommend, like I've said. Beautiful blue sky today, a little bit of wind. You can see that on those palm trees there. Just a touch of wind. Bonnie houses. And I'm just trying to find a car park here that I can park in, just to take the walk out to Bow Fiddle Rock. It's a nice day for it today. 2.1 metres, so yeah, no. I say, yeah, that car park's got a height restriction on it, but there's plenty of parking. You can get on the streets and stuff. But this is us en route. And I think it's just pretty much there. It's not a long walk or anything like that. I'm assuming that that's it, maybe over there, someplace. Let's go and see. That is the one. That is awesome. Oh, it's a little bit choppy today as well, so it looks quite spectacular. Oh, love it. Look at that. Right, so I can see a few different paths. I'm gonna get down onto the beach, I think, and get a closer look. We're gonna head down there. Get down onto the beach. This would be pretty slippy if it was wet. Thankfully it's not, it's nice and dry. I reckon it would be quite a nice place for a cold dip if it was nice and calm. It's obviously a bit blustery today, but it just makes it look more spectacular for these kind of shots for the camera. Look at that. Wow. Just look at that. With these waves coming in as well. It's just fantastic. What a spot. The wee fishing boat over there. Amazing. I could honestly stay here all morning looking at that view and just listening to these waves coming up, crashing off the rocks and the pebbles, and as it pulls out you hear that hissing, crackling sound. Just sit where you are, watch this and enjoy what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing for 30 seconds or so. Honestly, how awesome is that? What a day for it with the sort of, it's a bit choppy. Nothing crazy though, so get nice and close to it. It was brilliant. I'm just going to take a wee drive through Portknockie just now and head to a place called Finechty Beach. I'm already in an amazing mood today after that. Little welcome sign on the boat there. Another historic fishing village. This coast is just littered with them. It's a bit like that East Nuke of Fife. It's just fishing village after fishing village after fishing village. Oh, I like these houses. The brickwork, it's lovely. I'm hoping there's some sort of parking down here. I'm just kind of making this up as I go. I just asked a local there that were walking their dog where could I park for that beach. Yeah, down this wee road. Oh, happy days. Plenty space. Community garden, that's nice. Well, what a beautiful beach. And just looking back at where we've just come from at Portknockie, the geology of the rocks in that here is spectacular. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that. Absolutely fantastic. Like many towns along this stretch of coastline, Finechty's history is deeply tied to the sea, particularly the herring fishing industry, which once brought huge prosperity to communities like this across the northeast. Today the harbour feels much quieter, but there are still reminders everywhere of the life that once revolved around it. Tightly packed houses facing the sea, a small beach tucked beneath the cliffs, and the boats sitting sheltered along the shoreline. Places like Finechty still feel closely tied to the water, with the Moray Firth shaping everyday life here for generations. Just along the coastline from here sits Buckie, another town shaped by fishing, shipbuilding and life on the Moray Firth. At one point, Buckie was home to one of the largest herring fleets in Scotland, with hundreds of boats operating from the harbour during the height of the fishing boom. And even today, that connection to seafood and the fishing industry still runs deep through the town. From above, you can see how the harbour remains at the centre of it all, stretching out into the Moray Firth, with the town built up around it over generations. Buckie has always looked out towards the sea, and like much of this coastline, its identity was shaped by the people who made a living from it. And that's exactly why I've stopped here today, to pick up some fresh smoked haddock from Eat Mere Fish, to try and make my own Cullen Skink back in the van tonight. Hiya, how you doing?
Fine, yourself?
I'm good, aye. I'm just looking for some smoked haddock for some Cullen Skink, please. What was that, sorry? I'll go for the broken actually, that would be great. I'll grab some oat cakes as well. Oh god, yeah, that's fine. Absolutely fine. God, look at that fish. Right, well I got my fish, and honestly, see if you like the smell of your fish and you love your seafood, that place, oh, it's awesome. It's just packed with stuff. The staff were dead friendly as well. And yeah, I went and got my smoked haddock. I just need to grab some potatoes, onions and milk. Now, that's pretty much it. Although, what I'm going to do this time, because I found in episode 1 of this series when I cooked Cullen Skink in the van, I found that, I don't know, it was just a little bit thin and it just lacked a little, I don't know, a little bit of something in it. I don't know if it's maybe I didn't put in enough potatoes or, you know, to try and soak up the milk. but I just felt like it was lacking something. So I'm going to get a little bit of double cream and just put that, a little bit of it in just towards the end, just to try and see if it makes it a bit richer, because whenever I have Cullen Skink, like at Lily's Kitchen or at the Royal Oak, it's got just a slightly different consistency to whenever I've ever made it, and I've only ever made it with milk. So I'm going to try and just add just a touch of cream at the end, just to see if that makes a difference. I don't know if that's like something you do, but I'm going to try it anyway and try and see if I can make it a little bit richer. But yeah, I've got my fish, and I've got some beautiful looking oat cakes as well. So I'm looking forward to having that later, I must admit. But right now I'm just going to head along the coast from Buckie, not far at all, to Port Gordon, and that's where I'm going to settle in for the night. I just love, you get it everywhere in Scotland, but I just love the fact that our houses and like flats and stuff, they're just built, you very rarely see like red brick houses here. As soon as you go across the border to England, you see them all the time. But they're just built with these huge big slabs. That's the only way to sort of describe it. Right, happy days. Hey folks, well, obviously as you know, I'm packed up now. I did go for a wee nap there. I was pretty tired. It was well needed, and it's time to make my Cullen Skink. I've got that beautiful smoked haddock from Eat Mere Fish in Buckie. Honestly, it smells incredible. And then it's really, really simple. Onion, tatties. I got tatties out of a farm shop, so they've still got the dirt on them. You get them peeled and washed. I've got tatties, butter, some whole milk, and like I said, I've went and got myself a little bit of double cream as well, just to put in at the end and see how we get on. It's a messy cook for a van, and it's a smelly cook for the van. It's not advisable if you're not that fond of the smell of fish, or maybe your partner isn't too fond of it either. It can linger a little bit. I'm going to put my extractor fan on, open my skylight, so I've got that wind tunnel coming through here, which helps, and the door is open just slightly, but it's pretty windy out there, so it's kind of closing on me every now and again. But as much ventilation as you can get really is what's needed for a dish like this. Anyway, let's get cracking. Well, that's everything cooking now, and I must say as well, I got those tatties. I said a farm shop earlier. It was actually the Aliburn farm in Elgin where I picked them up. I nipped across to Elgin in the last episode to pick up a new trolley jack for my van to change my brake pads. So whilst I was there, I nipped into the farm shop and got my tatties there, got my onion there, grabbed some bits and pieces that I would need for the coming days. I will be going back in there to get some more stuff once I hit Elgin for this actual road trip, as well as I continue further along the coast. It was really good. It was huge place, and they've got produce from kind of all over the place really. So yeah, it's all just cooking away now. As you can see here, you've got the tatties and the onion just nicely simmering away there in that pot, and then I've got my haddock in the milk just cooking away there. And honestly, the smells already are incredible. And it's one of these things, if you like the smell, like I said, you're gonna love cooking this. But it is a pretty pungent one for the van. But I'm just gonna cook those tatties down, get them all nice and soft, and then transfer basically the milk and the fish into that potato and onion mix with all the butter, and then just let it sort of cook for a wee bit. Just let it simmer away, see how thick it gets, add in a little bit of the cream at the end, done. Such a simple meal and such a deliciously tasty one. If you like fish, and if you get fresh ingredients like the smoked haddock from Eatmere Fish and the potatoes from a farm shop, it's just, there's no better way to enjoy it. And it's such a simple meal. I love having it in winter. It's like one of these Scottish staples. It's a bit like, you know, mince and tatties and haggis and things like that. It's just such an easy, stodgy, warm meal to have, especially during the winter months. One other thing I did get when I was in Buckie as well, just out of shop, 4 wee softies. Home Bakery, Buckie Limited, so they're local. And they look and feel a little bit different to normal sort of white soft rolls. Like morning rolls you would sort of get down further down the coast and stuff. You know, they're much sort of thinner than that. But smell delicious. Delicious. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slice them up and toast them just to warm them through. Get them lathered in butter, and that's what I'm going to be having with my soup. Oh, can't wait! This, if you've not seen it before, this is my toaster. It goes on the hob. You'll find it in my Vanlife Essentials Amazon storefront. The link to my Amazon storefront is in the description of this video. Dead handy. Really, really good for just toasting stuff, and it just means I'm not using more electric with an actual toaster. Which is a total pain in the arse. This toasts just fine. Right, that is me. We're away to tuck into this. Consistency is much, much better on the soup. Much happier with it. It is definitely time for the taste test. Oh, I could maybe go just a wee touch of salt. And I do always like to have a little bit of pepper on my soup as well, but a wee touch of salt, I think that's all it's missing. And the thing is, I'll be having that tomorrow again as well. So by tomorrow, all the flavours and everything will be so rich, it will be all soaked up. Next day is always better, but I'm happy with that. Well, good morning, folks. I say good morning. I had a wee bit of a sleep in the day. I was up editing until the early hours last night, so I thought, bugger it, I'm sleeping in this morning. But I'm still, obviously I packed up at Port Gordon last night. And what I want to do is just go along, there's a seal viewpoint here. I don't know if there's any seals there at the moment or not, but I'm going to take a wee wander along just to stretch the legs and go and see if I can find any. That would be nice before I continue further up the coast. So let's go and see if we can spot some seals. This is the Port Gordon Community Trust Community Garden. Some of the wildlife that you see, that's what we're looking for today. The seals of Port Gordon. Wonder if we'll find any. Speyside Way, the Moray Coast Trail. Be ye man or bairn or woman, be ye gone or be ye coming. For Scotland's pride, no Scotland's shame, gather your litter and tak it hame. No, I don't see any seals, but it's a beautiful walk along this sort of shingle beach. It's so steep here. There's a big, huge, steep bit. I think the camera will pick that up. But during a spring tide, I would imagine that this all, you know, it comes up to there and create a nice little deep gully in here. I wonder what the beach fishing's like here. I mean, I've not really fished the shore past Arbroath, Auchmithie and stuff like that before. You remember in one of my previous episodes, the one that was in Arbroath in Auchmithie, I caught a cod. Had that for my dinner in the next episode after that. But there was another couple of spots, Elephant Rock at Bodden Point, that looked like they would be good marks as well. I've never fished them. Fished down of Usen as well, but I've not fished any further north. Should have made time to actually cast a line just to see what I get. I don't know. There's no seals. Can't see any. Can't see any down that way. Beautiful sight though. I mean, look at that. The sky looks fantastic with those clouds in the blue. It's a lovely beach. Oh, look at those clouds. That's a bit of a greyer one up there. Fantastic. Yeah, the wind has really picked up. There's no seals here, so I thought I might get my drone in the air and try and get some shots. Try and get some shots of Port Gordon from the air, but absolutely no chance. But just taking a stroll now, get some movement into the legs before I get back in the van and carry on up the coast. And my next stop, I was wanting to hopefully see some seals today. It's not happened. My next stop is Spey Bay, where the Scottish Dolphin Centre is. Now the centre itself's closed right now. I think it's only open at this time of year when I'm here now. This is round about mid-April. I think it's only open at the weekends. But I'm going to go to a point where I can hopefully maybe see some. Well, a lot of people don't realise is the Moray Firth is home to around about 200 or so bottlenose dolphins, and they're some of the largest in the world. I believe some of them are up to over 4 metres in length, which is what, just over 12 feet there or thereabouts. Because of the colder waters and the blubber, they live in the Moray Firth year round. Maybe a bit early in season to see them. The best time would be in summer. So I'm really hoping when I'm starting to go north from Inverness, places like Channery Point, that will be a little bit later. It's mid-April just now. But if you remember in a previous episode I said at the end of April I've got to go down to the Isle of Arran for my group adventures I host. I'm going to Spain with my friends for a golfing holiday for 5 nights in May, so I'm not going to get much filming done in May. This month as you're watching it, but I've still got episodes going out weekly because I'm weeks ahead of where I need to be. So that might be confusing. I'm just thinking that might be a bit confusing for you watching. But yeah. Basically, there's still going to be episodes going out every week, so don't worry about it. So I've just parked up at Spey Bay and the Dolphin Centre is open. Google must have had it wrong there. So I'm definitely going to go and check it out now. Hey, yeah, how you doing? This is the Scottish Dolphin Centre, run by the Whale and Dolphin Conservation Charity, also known as WDC. The centre was established to help protect and raise awareness of the marine wildlife found along the Moray Firth, which is home to one of the largest populations of bottlenose dolphins anywhere in the UK. But the site itself has a much longer history tied to the coastline. Right beside the centre sits the old Spey Bay ice house, built in the 19th century to store ice used for preserving salmon caught on the River Spey before they were transported south by rail. Today both tell very different parts of the story of Spey Bay, one connected to wildlife and the other to the industries that once shaped this coastline. This has been really smart, and that's the ice house up there. And this blue door here, I'm assuming that this would be the entrance. And I believe you can actually get tours into the ice house as well. And here it says Tugnet Ice House. This area is known as Tugnet, and the fishing community here dates back to the 11th century. At one time up to 150 men were employed here. Wow. Built in the 1830s, the ice house kept the ice frozen throughout the year, and it was supplied from ponds located behind the centre. Salmon and sea trout caught in the River Spey would be prepared in the centre buildings and then packed in the ice, ready to be distributed throughout the UK. Amazing, isn't it? And this is the Spey River. It's one of the most famous salmon fishing rivers out there, really, that and the Tay in Scotland probably. I mean, there's others obviously as well, but that's the two that immediately come to mind. And of course, this is Speyside, where your Speyside whiskies are from, the whole Moray region. I think it's the most densely populated region in the world for whisky distilleries. And when people complain about the rain in Scotland, well, you know what they say, today's rain is tomorrow's whisky. It's just so peaceful here. It flows pretty quick, like, at this part. I wouldn't want to dive in there. I would get taken, I reckon. It's flowing kind of in all these different directions. And it looks pretty deep right out there, not far out. So peaceful. All I can hear are birds. Really, I haven't seen anything else yet. I haven't seen any other wildlife other than birds. The only thing that's missing is a fishing rod. I think I'm gonna head up onto the pebbly beach and see if I can see any dolphins out in the Moray Firth. I've not got my hopes up today, to be honest. It's pretty choppy, it's pretty windy. They might even be very difficult to spot, even if they are coming out, because it's choppy. I don't know. I'll have a look. I'm so glad I made this stop, even just to sit here for 5 minutes off camera and just take this in and enjoy the peace and quiet. I wonder what that is. They look like, I don't know, wee shelters. Look, there's loads of them. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Okay, someone that's local, please enlighten me as to why they're stacked up like that. Is that just people doing that, or is there a reason for it? Okay, these definitely look like little shelters, like someone's been doing a bit of bushcraft or something, because look, that's exactly what that looks like. And this one's the even bigger version. Yeah, there's even a wee seat in there for you to sit down. It's pretty cool, actually. I wonder why they're there though. Like, is that just, I don't know. Someone's gonna have to tell me in the comments. Oh, that was great. I'm so glad that was open. I'd never been here before, and it's a lovely walk along that beach. It really is. Quite warm, not gonna lie. This is tracking my face in sweats, moving side to side as I move. But yeah, it was really good. I reckon getting a tour of the ice house and that would be pretty smart, to be fair, but I've not got time today. I even got my granddad's old big huge binoculars out to have a look. Whilst I was at the beach there when I came back to the van. The house that they used to have in Wormit had like a living room with a window that overlooks the Tay towards Dundee, and you used to use those binoculars to see the old flumes at the old Olympia that was there, the swimming pool and stuff. And when he passed away, that was one of the things I got from the living room. Mum says, "You want those binoculars? You used to love them when you were a kid." And I said, "Absolutely, I do. I've used them loads. They're really good. They're old as anything, but they're still good." But yeah, I'm going to head now just again further up the Moray Coast, and I'm actually going to be heading into Elgin. And my first stop was a place I'd never been to before, the magnificent Elgin Cathedral. Rising above the centre of Elgin are the ruins of what was once known as a Lantern of the North. Founded in 1224, after Alexander II granted permission for the seat of the Bishop of Moray to be moved here from Spiny Palace. This became one of the most important medieval churches in Scotland. And when you walk through it today, you quickly realise this wasn't just built to function, it was built to impress. Constructed in sandstone and expanded over centuries, the cathedral combined both Romanesque and Gothic architecture, with soaring arches, detailed stone carvings, towering columns, and huge stained glass windows that would have once filled the interior with light. At its height, this was one of the grandest cathedrals ever built in Scotland. But its history wasn't peaceful. In 1390, the cathedral was attacked and burned by Alexander Stewart, better known as the Wolf of Badenoch, during a violent dispute with the Bishop of Moray. Large sections were destroyed by fire, and although it was rebuilt and restored, the cathedral would suffer further damage over the centuries that followed. And for me, some of the most fascinating details survive today in the stonework itself. Inside the chapter house and display rooms, you can still see the remarkable medieval carvings created by the masons who worked here hundreds of years ago. Some are religious figures, others are far stranger, faces pulling at their own mouths, biting their headdresses, or twisting into exaggerated expressions. Details that historians still debate today, part symbolism, part warning, and perhaps in some cases, simply the humour and imagination of the craftsmen themselves. And then there's the chapel house, octagonal in shape and remarkably well preserved. It is considered one of the finest examples of medieval chapter house architecture anywhere in Scotland. One of the most impressive surviving features is the cathedral's western towers. Climbing the narrow spiral staircase takes you high above the ruins, offering a view back across Elgin and the surrounding Moray landscape. And from up here you really begin to appreciate the sheer scale of what once stood here. Following the Scottish Reformation in the 16th century, the cathedral gradually fell out of use, much like its compatriot in St Andrews. Its lead roof was stripped, parts of the stonework removed, and over time the building slipped into ruin. But even in this state, Elgin Cathedral still feels monumental. Today, the site is cared for by Historic Environment Scotland, helping preserve one of the country's most important medieval landmarks for future generations to come, and they do a great job of it. It's a place shaped by faith, conflict, craftsmanship, and centuries of Scottish history. Well, wasn't that awesome? So glad I made this stop in Elgin. I've never been to the cathedral before and it is stunning. It's gorgeous. And as you know, I'm promoting a buy local message. Throughout this series, I'm gonna head to a farm shop. Homegrown tatties, do right. We'll definitely take some of this. Right, so got my supplies. Got quite a lot of stuff in there. It's a lot bigger than I expected. I didn't check it out online or anything beforehand. It's got producers of local food come from kind of all over the place. There was cheeses from, you know, down in Wales and things like that as well. But it was good. There was a huge, big sort of variety. I got the Alaburn potatoes, and I got some of their steak mince, and I got some of their chicken as well. Ah, I forgot to get eggs. Ah, idiot. Yeah, I forgot to pick up eggs. I need eggs. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll get them from somewhere else. They had loads of eggs too. Oh, twat. Anyway, that's me done in Elgin. I'm going to head now towards Lossiemouth. Just up the coast near where the RAF is. You can park at the harbour there, I believe. So I'm going to go and park there for the night. But en route, there's one last place I want to check out before I settle in for the night. And that place is Spiny Palace. Now, long before Elgin Cathedral became the seat of the Bishop of Moray, Spiny Palace was already one of the most important religious strongholds in northern Scotland. For more than 500 years, this was the residence of the Bishops of Moray, serving not just as a home, but as a centre of power, politics, and influence in the region. What survives today is only part of the original palace complex, but even now, the scale of it is hugely impressive. Dominating the site is David's Tower, built in the late 15th century by Bishop David Stewart. Standing 6 stories high, it's one of the largest surviving medieval tower houses in Scotland. And despite being located miles inland today, Spiny Palace once sat beside a sea loch connected to the Moray Firth, allowing ships to reach it directly by water. Over the centuries, changing coastlines and drained land transformed the landscape completely. And today, Spiny Palace is once again cared for by Historic Environment Scotland, preserving another remarkable piece of Moray's medieval past, hidden just beyond the coastline. I cannot believe the size of this. It's much more extensive than I actually realised. Even this magnificent structure in front of us, the stonework is unbelievable. I didn't expect it to be this intact, but just to show you how tall it really is, I'm going to go and run up against it. Can you see me? I mean, wow. It's so much taller than I expected. It's absolutely beautiful. And the buildings across that way, the ruins that you can see, you can just imagine how big that this palace actually was at one point. It must have been an incredibly impressive sight. It still is today. Oh. Right, now time to go and get packed up in Lossie. And this is the view from my park up tonight at Lossiemouth Harbour. Not a bad place to end another chapter of this journey. But next week the road trip continues further along the Moray Coast as I make my way from here towards one of my favourite cities in Scotland, Inverness. Like and subscribe for more van life adventures.